Rolling.
Oh, yeah. 3 pre-rolls today, starting with JamesAllen.com, the online destination for designing a customized engagement ring that she'll love. Easier than you ever thought possible. Get 25% off your order when you go to JamesAllen.com and use the code JRVP. That's code JRVP at JamesAllen.com for 25% off. JamesAllen.com. We also have a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now at Babbel.com. 55% off your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com/JRVP. If you want to speak another language, learn it this fall. Be the exception, not the rule. Get 55% off at Babbel.com/JRVP, spelled BABBEL.com/JRVP. Rules and restrictions, you know they apply. Finally, we got our friends at Helix back. They're offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listener. You should never have to compromise on comfort. Helix has mattresses with cooling technology that helps regulate your body temperature, whatever the season. Go to helixsleep.com/JRVP. This is their best offer yet. It will not last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. 3 pre-rolls from the house. Anthony up in Burbank with Aaron, and we got a lot of good stories, like the worst loss in sports history, a 13-foot-long cat-eating python, and our retirement plans coming up in episode 221 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
I got some records from World War II. I play him just like my granddad do. He was a rocker and I am too. Oh, Cleveland rocks. Yeah, Cleveland rocks.
Anthony in that clean, new-looking Dodgers hat.
That's right. I got it. I got it this week to go to the Dodgers game last night, which I will talk about. I'm not a good luck charm for the Dodgers in come playoff time, historically, if you go back to last year and then this year. But hopefully I get to see another game. We got a bunch we want to talk about. We did a podcast last week, but I still feel like a lot happened this week we want to get into. I definitely want to talk in depth about Cleveland, get on the record about some things. But first, Greg and I talked before the episode, and even though Greg's not in the studio, if you can tell the sound's a little different, it's because Greg is at home right now. He's got to take a flight a little bit later. So I am ruling the kingdom. When it's a different kind of episode when it's me in the studio and Greg's at home. I have more of the power position. Not that I don't have the power position when we are both in the studio, but I rule with an iron fist when Greg is gone. He wants to talk so bad right now, and he cannot. But Greg and I did discuss what we would do this episode, and we thought we'd do something different. Normally, we talk about our week, we go into some emails, and then we get into headlines. But this week, Greg and Aaron and myself all decided that we would talk about the Middle East and what's been going on in the Middle East, and more importantly, solve some things. As Greg likes to say, we're going to solve some things this episode. Don't turn it off. Don't fast forward. Rewind and listen to the beginning of this again. Now, we want to start it off. Aaron, would you just take as much time as you need?
Okay.
5-10 minutes if you need to. We want to get this right. But just describe for the viewer at home, the listener, what's going on over there. Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Who you backing in this one?
There's no winners here, man. It's all bad.
Okay, Greg, what do you think? Good guy, bad guy, black and white. Who is it? Who you got? Who you supporting on this one?
Well, I think Aaron's right. Militarization from any country is, going to lead to the loss of lives. But I think ultimately the good guys here are us, because we're addressing the issue. We're talking about it. I saw that the Second Avenue Deli in New York, which I used to go to, sent out an Instagram message noting all the people in the world with the most followers who have not commented on this at all. We're not on that list. We have that amount of followers, but they knew we would comment on it on the next Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
That's right. You know, social media doesn't have the bandwidth to do what we're doing right now, which is discussing the issue and letting you know, once again, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. Aaron, what did you have again?
There's no winners here, man.
There's no, but who's the good guy? Who's the Darth Vader and who's the Luke Skywalker?
I don't know that there is one. It's all wrong.
Who's the Mark Hamill and who's the James Earl Jones? You know what I mean? Like Greg, coin flip. Just pick one. Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Just throw it out. Let's do a debate. Aaron, you pick one side and say they're the good guys, and the other side's bad. And then Greg, you do the other one, and I'll decide which one of you is going to get canceled. I'll say this. I don't understand anything. I don't know. All I know, and I can say this with confidence, is you got to knock it off with the missiles.
Yeah.
You got to knock it off with the missiles. You don't need them. It's too much.
Yeah.
You got guns. You got knives. You got sand you could throw at each other. You got other options than the missiles. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I'd say the bad guys are the missiles.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other?
I mean, I would say you don't need the guns either. I think just knives will take, I guess, lesser of three evils.
You see, here's the thing, the difference between guns and missiles. You can't put a flower in the stem of a missile. It's useless.
Yep. It's true.
Greg, what can you do with a gun? You can put a flower
right
in the barrel of the gun.
Yeah.
Have it sticking out.
You could also put like a flag if you want, and when you press the trigger, it comes out, and then the flag says like "pow." I always like that.
I mean, it's always a crowd pleaser. People love it. I got to start working that into the live show. That and the knife, the switchblade that was actually a comb. Those two are classics that every kid should have in the streets. I think we solved it. I think if it's not solved, this comes out right after. The video comes out Wednesday afternoon. If it's not solved by Friday, they're not listening. They're not subscribed. So, anyway, Dodgers game last night. I went. Aaron, did you go?
No.
Did you go Saturday, Sunday? What was it?
No, I haven't gone.
You haven't gone? Would you go?
I would, yeah.
I wanted to go. I wanted to see. Let me see if I can see a playoff game. I'm excited. Dodgers got blown out Saturday, and I'm like, maybe this is a good thing for me. Maybe it's good. Maybe that means the Dodgers are going to rally and put a hurting on the Diamondbacks. That is not what happened. 3-run first inning, buried us, never recovered. Exciting game, a lot of chances.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. I enjoyed myself. I got good tickets. I deserve good tickets. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for our boys. But I'm still wearing the hat, Aaron.
That's dedication.
It's more for the fit.
Well, when did it turn into us? You just said us.
Mm-hmm. I live in LA. Okay? I got Dodgers on my forehead. It takes me 25 minutes to get from my place to the stadium. It's us. Mookie, Freddie, I know them all. Other than that, let me get to, and before I get into what Greg's week was. Greg, anything happened with you this week before I get into the big story?
Go to the big. I want to hear about Cleveland. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I had an interesting weekend this last weekend, and I knew going into it was going to be a bit different. Normally, I go out on shows, 1 or 2 shows Thursday, 1 or 2 Friday, 1 or 2 Saturday. This weekend, I'm going to Huntington, New York, I think, Montclair, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., 2 shows each night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's a busy night. In Baltimore and Cleveland, I had Baltimore Thursday night, amazing show. People of Baltimore were incredible, packed house, loved it. Just one show early, got to go to dinner afterwards. Then the next day I have off. I have to get up super early and fly into Cleveland, and I go do Theo Vaughn's podcast. That came out today. Go check it out if you haven't heard about it already. But I go and we're recording it in the theater. He's there on Saturday night, and then he's there Friday night. I'm there Saturday, and Friday during the day I go over there and they have cameras set up and we do a podcast real quick. I'm sure people seem to like it from the comments I've seen today. I don't know what we talked about. My back hurt so bad and I was exhausted. And I had a good time. I like Theo, but I don't remember anything. People seem to like it. Check it out. Theo's telling me, hey, this theater is weird. They just sold it. Like, it was just bought by someone to put shows on in for $750,000. It's a huge, there's like multiple theaters in the venue. It's this giant place. And they keep bragging about how it was only $750,000. I'm like, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't give me faith in this venue.
That's weird.
And Theo's like, it's going to be hot as hell on that stage. Like, there's no AC in here. This place is kind of fucked. It's going to be really hot, so I'm preparing for that. I show up Saturday night. It is freezing. And the weather seems fine. The weather is fine when I get there. I go when I do sound check. It sounds okay. It's an old place, but I'm like, all right, whatever, we can deal with this. During my opening act, I feel like something's a little off about this place. Like, it's the sound. The sound just seems weird. But I'm like, whatever. I've had weird sounding things before. I walk out there, and it sounds awful to me, but I don't know what people can hear. People are still laughing. Jokes are working. And all of a sudden, I started to hear this, like, rumbling above my head in the theater. It sounds like a fucking roller coaster is going on above my head. Like, moving things around above me. And it's like a theater, so it's like just giant lights and things right above my head. And I'm like, what the fuck? To the point where I get so distracted, I walk over to my stage manager. And I'm like, what is that noise? And they're like, we don't know. We think it's...
Were you on the stage when
I'm
you
on
walked
stage.
over to the stage manager?
I'm like 5 minutes into my set. In between jokes,
Wow.
I walk over. And I'm into the mic. I'm like, what is that? Because I think the audience can hear. Apparently, in between, this guy comes up to me. He's like, oh, they can't hear that. It's just above you. It's from the wind. It's an old building. I'm like, that doesn't make me feel better. So they're like, we don't know. So I keep doing my set. I'm ignoring the noise. And then I started to hear electrical sounds, like sparks behind me. I hear like a banging noise. And I'm like, what is happening? And 10 minutes into my set, almost exactly, I'm telling a joke that I'm very proud of, that I'm excited to hear the response of the crowd. And right as I get to the punchline, I hear like a loud snap and everything goes silent. Lights go out. Everything's done. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm standing there waiting for it to come back on. I'm like, is the backup mic? They're like, it's the power. Power's out. So after like a minute or two, audience is like, keep going, keep going. I just walk off stage. We're like, give me 5 minutes. And everyone's like, we don't have anything we can do. The whole block is out power-wise. We've got a little bit of light in here. I don't know what we can do. We can wait a little bit and see if the power comes back on. After a little bit, we're like, it's not coming back on. They said maybe 11:30 tonight it'll come back on. Go out there and just tell them that the show's canceled. You're only 10 minutes in. We can't do anything. I walk out there and I'm trying to yell, but I can't project my voice. And they get a mic working in the back. They're like, you can only use this for announcements if we get it working, because the battery's like 10 minutes. And right as I'm like about to say the show's canceled, they bring me the microphone. They get it working, and they hand it to me. And I'm like, guys, the show has to end. And they're like, why? You have a mic. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Why do we have to cancel it? And they're like, I don't know. And so I'm like, fuck it. Let's just do this right now. And the crowd was so amazing. It like powered me through the set. At no point was I having fun. I was just like, I want to put on the best possible show for these people who stayed. The mic actually sounds a little bit better, but not as loud. So I'm like, this is weird. The crowd is amazing. I hope
they're in the dark?
No, there's a little bit of light, but not a lot. There's like one light there's a couple lights here and there that work. And then that show ends and I walk off stage and I'm like, what the fuck was that? What's happening? Oh, and during my closer, during that set, there's loud banging. A door, like a wide metal door backstage, has just flown open in the wind and it's slamming. And I think it's the apocalypse outside. The way it sounds inside this theater, and the way people are talking to me. This door banging. Liz finally goes over and stops the door from banging loud. No one's doing anything. The crew was amazing for even getting the mic back working again the first time. And then in between shows, they're like, listen, we can wait until 11:30. We can wire a mic in from a different part of the theater and get it in. It's going to sound about the same as it did the first show. And I'm like, we can't do that to people. We have to cancel it. And they're like, okay. Like, we're canceling. The sound was so terrible. It was the worst venue I've ever been in. And then as I'm leaving, I get home and like a half an hour later, people are like, what's going on? Is the show canceled? And I'm like, how did no one announce this, that the show was canceled? And I put an announcement on Twitter myself. I've seen people online be like, how do I get a refund? This sucks. Yeah, it fucking sucks. Everybody wanted that show to go on. I wanted that show to go on. I blame not a single person. Every person involved in the story did a great job getting it done, getting the first one even off. I blame the venue. It should not be a venue. I'm coming back next year to a much better venue for people. If you had tickets to the second show, I think you can either get refunds, or I think what they might be doing, this was explained to me by an agent, I'm not really sure, is going to announce the new show in Cleveland. If you want tickets, you can use your former tickets to get first in line to get whatever ticket you want. Or if you want a refund, I believe at that time you can get it, or maybe in a couple days. I don't know. I don't know how this works, but you will get your money back if you want your money back. So that was Cleveland. And then so I did one show and then just didn't know what to do.
Wait, but the whole block was out, right?
Whole block was out. Yeah, and a lot of Cleveland was out. It was just super windy.
So that was just kind of
it wasn't
bad
even
luck.
that rain. It was windy. It was bad luck to be in that theater and on that night. But any other theater, it's really windy. That doesn't knock out the fucking show. You know, even people were like, "What? Isn't there a backup generator?" And they were like, "We don't have any of that stuff." So I think any other venue, it would have been fine. Any other night, it would have been fine. But I will never go back to that fucking place. In Cleveland, I owe you one. You are in my hearts, both my hearts, forever.
So I know we haven't gotten to email corner. Emails are a thing, even when we're in the week.
It's true.
They're always a thing.
They're always a thing.
And we got a ton of emails, and I didn't include them on the list because it was, I figured you're going to talk about it at the top, from people that saw you in Cleveland. Mostly very appreciative. Do you want to hear any?
I mean, I'll hear one. Like, everyone seemed to,
Okay.
like, I was ready to leave and they were like, no, keep going. The audience, I credit the audience 100% for getting me through that set, and everyone seemed psyched with it. I was like, I hope they come back and see the real show. It was a bummer, but I gave you all the jokes except the one that the fucking mic messed up.
Yeah, basically, you've answered a lot of the questions. They wanted to know what transpired when you were talking on the side. Everyone was very appreciative, is the short version of it. That one listener, Milan, said he or she's been going through some tough things, and they thought it was your best hour. They've seen all your hours. They thought this was your best one. He also asked, do you think Billy drove up from his show in Canton and pulled the fuses backstage to try to sabotage you?
Billy has people who do that for him. Billy's got little errands running around doing his bidding everywhere he goes. You think Billy can't find an errand in Cleveland? If you go into Cleveland, errands are falling off the fucking trees.
It's true.
In Cleveland, rotting on the ground. No, the audience was amazing. I owe everybody one. I will get back there as soon as I can. And yeah, I just couldn't. The first show, I was like, well, let's do this. We're in this together. You guys watch this happen. It's a story for you. The second show, I couldn't have people come in the building and be like, this is what I'm presenting to you. It's got to be, you got to have light and sound, guys. You got to have light and sound. I was not happy. I wasn't that angry. It's like, it's an act of God kind of thing, but it wasn't a good feeling. I didn't enjoy myself Saturday night after the show.
Well, one was convinced that you canceling the show before the microphone was given to you was a bit, and you knew the whole time you were going to restart the show. You've proven that is not true.
No, I had no idea. And when they got the mic working, I thought it was just for an announcement. Like, it's got a battery, it'll die, and then we have nothing. But we just went for it.
But yeah, everyone very appreciative that you were killing it and that you soldiered through the early one. They shitty on Cleveland a little bit, and they said it was a bad sign when they got there and the electric sign outside the venue was broken and not displaying the show. So I think that speaks to what you're talking about with the theater.
I couldn't believe what a shithole the Masonic Temple was. It was such a shithole. The next day, Theo was like, hope it wasn't too hot on stage. I was like, oh, we had to cancel the second show. It was a fucking nightmare. Couldn't believe it. But that was my week. How about you? You're leaving for London right after the podcast to do your little Bazinga bullshit over there. Your fantasy sports.
What does that mean, Bazinga bullshit? I'm doing a show. I mean, I'm not really going to do the show, but we are doing a show. I think it's called, I don't even remember what it's called, but it's sold out, so I don't have to worry about it. A smaller venue, that'll be fun. But we're on Sky Sports. If we happen to have any British listeners, we'll be on Sky Sports all day Sunday, covering Titans Ravens the rest of the day as well. We can't get NFL Network we go all the way over there, and NFL Network doesn't use us, like, even though we're there. But Sky Sports, the Brits love us, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to a little change of pace. We're in the middle of the season.
You guys don't have the raw sex appeal of a Michael Irvin. Did he get his job back? Is he back?
He's back.
Okay, good.
It was a pretty dramatic return, because as of the day before the season started, it had not been announced whether he was back or not. No one knew, and there he was. He showed up. He's the best.
How about my Steelers? What do
They're
you think?
ugly.
Super Bowl
they're
favorite?
the worst 3-2 team I've ever seen. They're painful to watch.
Ooh, but they're still 3-2. They are fucking painful. It is brutal. But you know what I was mad about? I got to watch like the first half, the first like 3 quarters, and I had to get in the plane to fly back on Sunday from Cleveland. But when I saw the highlight afterwards of the big touchdown pass, and they're like, "Oh, did he call an audible?" And Matt Canada seems mad when they cut to the booth. Get the fuck out of here. The entire city, the entire country's been calling for this guy to get fired for the last like year and a half. He's not going to pump his fist in the air like a little kid at a birthday party when he scores a fucking touchdown. The guy's under more pressure than anyone has ever been since JFK, Cuban Missile Crisis. It's those fucking missiles again, Aaron.
Damn it.
The missiles are the bad guy.
They are.
They're the villain. No matter what you say.
You know what we didn't hit last week though, by the way, is your goddaughter turned 12.
Yes.
Here a couple weeks ago.
Yes. You would say on the way out, happy birthday, Ellis, turning 12, September 21st. I remember the day if I think about it, but when the day comes and goes, I'm on the road. I'm making money, okay? I'm going to end up putting you through college with these jokes. So don't come crying to me you didn't get your third iPad.
You keep saying that. I'm making a good living. We're a one-income house, and I'm taking care of things, but it was very emotional, for lack of a better word, to have 10 preteen or teen, 11 and 12-year-old girls running around my house. I've never experienced.
What would you say? What would you say the emotions
made me feel very old.
What were the emotions?
Made me feel old.
Okay.
I mean, but it also makes you feel like people, whenever you tell them that you have a 12-year-old kid, if they have like little kids, they're like, "Oh, that makes me so sad. Like I'm gonna miss them so much when they're, little and cute. Like that makes me sad." It's like, first of all, that's kind of a hurtful thing to say. You're sad about my kid. Second of all, they get better. I don't miss it when they were younger. The sense of satisfaction that you have that this person you've helped raise and gotten to know and is like more of a human is better than having little kids. So eat that, young kid parents.
I mean, you famously, you talk about all the time, hated your kids for the first 7 or 8 years of their lives. Hated them. like, why did I do this? What a mistake. How do I go back? So yeah, it makes sense that you would like them a little more. Your daughter, Ellis, is gold star child. Like if you could like grow a child in the lab to be easy on the parents, it is Ellis in every single way. And when she goes to college, even if it's down the street, it is going to break you into a million pieces. And I'm going to be there to clean it up. We're going to do a live pod when she goes on to college in 6 years, and it's going to destroy you. Do you know where you want to go to school? I bet it's close. I bet it's like Santa Monica Community College.
UCLA. That would be great.
I bet she does. People who grew up in LA love LA, and I will pay for it because I have to, not because I want to, but I feel like I have to for her to get the best. And now it's time for Did We Get Any Notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
Greg's got some notes for you.
Why do you sound so dissatisfied when you say that? Well, we're off next week. And we have been off like a little more lately. So I was just giving a little warning to the listeners that we're off next week. So that would be October 17th. And we're also off Halloween. So there's a couple off weeks more than usual. Not totally our choice. And I think we have 4 total off weeks the rest of the year. The others are Christmas and Thanksgiving week. So 4 total off weeks the rest of the year. But we're not going anywhere. And
We'll be around.
We're still cranking out the rest of the weeks.
Listen, it's a podcast recession. The boom is over. It's just us and then the right wing alt Nazis who are doing their thing. You know who I'm talking about. Aaron, give me their initials.
BS.
Okay. You know what I'm talking about. It's just us. Sometimes we don't have an ad. Sometimes we have 4 ads. Sometimes today we have 3. It's a beautiful day. But if we have no ads, we're not doing a podcast. There's not going to be a show for nothing. If we have 1 ad, we'll try to move it. If we have 2 ads, we're here, and we're into it. 6 ads, which we have done, that's when I feel good. But no ads.
Why do you have to give them the internal business? It makes sense. Like, look, we're only contracted for a certain amount of episodes every year. We fly past that. We're giving episodes for free.
You think I won't go to Patreon in a fucking second if I think you're not grateful enough? You think I won't bounce and make you guys pay $9.99 a month for extended editions of shit? I will do it. What else can I add on there, Aaron? Extended podcast episodes.
I mean,
I'll put the YouTube behind a paywall.
yeah.
I'll do it right now. Aaron, hit that button.
How about the thing where you talk about the podcast you just recorded for like 10 minutes after the podcast?
Oh, the recap? We should do that, Aaron. Because we do it anyway. Let's just include the audience. You know, after every podcast, we sit there and we break it down bit by bit. How did we get any notes go this week?
Yeah.
You know, so why not let the audience in on that? It's fun for you. It's fun for us. And you get to give us your credit card information and billing address. And that was, did we get any notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
You know, I go to my chiropractor every Tuesday now. I've been going like the last 3 or 4 weeks, and it's great. Like he does these little things. I've talked about them before in here, where it's not like cracks or adjustments, just these little like things he does that I feel a little bit better about every week. And then I get in an airplane and it like kind of goes back down. So it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But then when I'm sitting in this chair, like I went in like at 10:30 this morning, and I feel really good. But like I'll like sit, I'll kind of adjust, and I'll hear like something crack. Like I'll hear, it's like my bones are settling back into my body, and it's unpleasant. I feel, Aaron, I feel spooky. I feel like a spooky goblin.
It's the spooky season.
There you go. And now it's time for a little thing we like to call Email Corner.
Email corner. Emails are a thing. Email corner. Emails. It's email corner.
Guys, emails are a thing. Get with the program. It's the future. We get emails every week. Some are for the mailbag. We save them up. When I gotta kick rocks for a couple weeks down the road, make it up to Cleveland, like I'm gonna do to each and every one of you. Like I got canceled. Like I got canceled for lying about the news while I was hosting the news. I would go door to door and make it up. It's Brian Williams. Anyway, we got emails this week. I let Greg pick them.
That might have been the missiles' fault, too, now that I think about it.
You think Brian Williams was a casualty of the missiles?
Yeah.
You think his reputation, his good name?
Yeah,
Okay. Look into it.
I will.
Thank you. We got 3 emails. Greg, read them to me in order.
Yeah, I'm Team Lester Holt anyways. Yeah, email us at jrvpjuniorvicepresident@gmail.com. The next time we tape, we might do an email episode. Or if you have an idea of like an episode, you know, that would just be like a little, like something you want to hear from us that would be time independent, like a bottle episode. You can put that in the email title, or put mailbag in the title.
Any creative notes you can give us, any work you can do to move us further along. If you can get us through episode 222, we would love that.
I know you don't like that idea, but I'm just saying we could do something a little different if someone shot off something they'd love to hear from us in a different kind of episode. All right,
Greg
first
loves
one's
to
from
say
Jen.
we should do, maybe we'll do a bottle episode, something different. Never an idea for what we could do. Just we should do one, and then waits for me to magically come up with an idea. Okay, I'm not an endless fountain of podcast ideas. I'm not Billy. I can't be Billy when it comes to that.
This is a question for Anthony and Greg. You both seem to enjoy your jobs quite a bit. Do you have any goals or plans to retire, or do you plan to work up until you're physically incapable of doing so? If you plan to retire, what do you want to do with your time?
I think about retirement all the time. I think about it constantly. I worry. People say like you don't want to retire too early because then you end up later on in life. You're like, oh, I should have worked a little more, made some more money. I worry the other way. that I would retire at 60 and be like, God damn, I should have retired at 50. I should have done this at 50. And retirement for me is just like I'm not going to perform anymore. I'm going to let that adrenaline go from my life, and I'm going to write. And I'm going to write as I want. I'm going to like enjoy my life and then write on the side. If I write, it's a book, it's play, it's more stand-up, whatever. Deal with it then. But just kind of be a writer and enjoy my life. But I think about it constantly. This could be my last tour. It's possible. I think it's unlikely. But
you said that last time.
I know, but I think it's like a veteran player at the end of the season. You know, they lose their last game in the playoffs, and he's like, I don't know. You know, it's like you really feel like that could be it, but then you get the hunger again. It's not the season; it's the preseason. It's getting back into shape that I don't like. That the idea of just being a writer in the future appeals to me, but I doubt it. But I think about it a lot: where I would live, what I would do, how I would spend my day, what am I doing with my money. I would like to be involved in charity in some way and write. Philanthropy, if you will. How about you, Greg?
This is one of those topics I try not to think about, you know, because I don't like where it's going when I would think about it, because it's like they don't really have retirement plans for fucking podcasters, you know. They don't have retirement plans for sports media. I'm doing this till the wheels fall off. Yeah, I just hit my prime earning years like a year or two ago. It took me to get to this level. So now it's prime time, and I need to make that last as long as possible. We're a one-income household. We've had a lot of promises from Jeselnik. One day JRVP is going to blow your other podcasts out of the water. It'll send you to the moon. No, the NFL is going to be paying for the rest of my life, but there's no retirement plan here. So I'm doing this until I'm way past my prime, until I'm Chris Berman doing prime time on ESPN Plus with Booger McFarland. Who's watching that? Nobody.
That's true. It is the anti-Manning cast. So there you go. I desperately want to retire and enjoy my days of leisure, and Greg will never be able to afford to do that.
I mean, maybe if the next like 15 years go awesome, but I'm thinking on that sort of timeline. It's still a long ways away.
Aaron, what's retirement look like for you?
I have no idea. I do not think about it. I probably shouldn't be doing this for much longer.
Mentally or physically?
Maybe mentally.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of the podcast before this one, and I was like, God damn. How does he endure it? Tell us what the podcast was, Aaron. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to do that. The fact that you paused, I was like, it was obvious. I'm not asking for the actual answer. But Aaron did go out to his car today and get me gum when I told him to do that. So, Aaron, you're still on top of your game. Haven't lost a step.
Yeah.
Our next question is from Nick. He's a big fan of the show. He wants to know what Anthony thinks about cheap or easy laughs. I've heard some comedians talk about how they don't mind getting them. Example, Jerry Seinfeld on Talking Funny on HBO. Can you still respect a comedian who gets them routinely? Do you ever get them when you're working out material? Has age changed your viewpoint on the topic?
I don't know if age has changed my viewpoint on the topic. Maybe a little bit. When I was younger, I probably would have been like, no, cheap and easy laughs are bullshit. Now I think it's okay. As long as you treat them like cheap and easy laughs. You know, like David Spade is great with this. We'll have like a really funny joke and then like an easy joke that just kind of like keeps you going. And he knows it's like an easy joke, and he'll comment on that. I've definitely had some in my act that I think it's just funny to throw in here after a smart joke. So there's no like rules to it. But if you have a lot of them, if your opener is an easy joke, and like there's some people whose act like a Milton Berle, where their act is really just making fun of the bad jokes they just told. So it's like if you're kind of bombing, but your act of bombing is funny. But if you come out with just like a shit joke, I remember there was this kid is probably like my age, called Southern Mama, who went and did Montreal a couple years ago, and it was like a big controversy because he was like they were trying to appeal to like Southern conservatives, and this guy was so bad. I remember he came out to do a set, and he like said a toast. His opener was a toast to our wives and girlfriends, may they never meet. And they said the audience just like took a beat to realize what he had done, and then was just like, oh fuck, this is gonna be the worst thing ever. Like that is an old joke. So like, yeah, like you can't do that. But if you have a little like saying, oh, that guy, they have one cheap joke is not does not change anyone in my opinion. As long as you know it's cheap. If you act like it's really great, then fuck you.
All right, our third question.
Aaron, do you agree with that? As someone who listens to comedy podcasts all the time.
Yeah, I think it's I think you want to work for it a little bit. You want to earn it.
You want it to be good. You don't want to tell a joke they've heard already.
Yeah.
You know, that like, of course the joke's going to work. I've seen it work a million times. That's the thing. That line.
Yeah, but like, well, who is even to say what's a cheap joke or not? Some comedians, all their jokes are cheap.
Mm-hmm. And they're bad.
Yeah. Our last one's from Jen. I don't know if it's the first Jen. If so, you got into the show twice. Way to go, Jen. This is a question for the whole group. If you had to switch location of 2 orifices on your body, eyes, ear holes, nose holes, mouth, pee hole, butthole, just you spelled out what the orifices are, which would you swap? You can't swap individual holes within a set. For example, you can't like swap eyes or something. That's bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be. I mean, that would be. Well, why would you do it? Why would you? Did you see what I did? I switched my eyes. What would you do, Greg? What's your call here?
Well, I think the least impactful, if you just wanted to continue to like make money and be in your career, would be eyes and ears. I mean, you'd be pretty fucked up, but I feel like you could survive. But I don't want to do that. I want to really freak people out.
Why would you think switching your eyes and ears would be the easiest one to do? People would be terrified of you.
Well, because you could still like...
You think you could be on TV?
No, but you could maybe do a podcast as long as there wasn't a video. I mean, your eyes... People would be... You know, you'd have different vision. I guess it wouldn't be good, but you might be a pretty good point guard or something like that. I just think it would like fuck you up the least. because if you're mixing anything with pee or butthole, everything's fucked up. There's no coming back from that. But that's why I would go mouth. I would go mouth and pee hole.
What?
I love the idea of Greg just shoveling cornflakes into his crotch. Why mouth and pee hole?
You have to talk through your...
That's hilarious, insane. I thought at first I would go pee hole butthole switch because both of mine are the same size. You know, so it would be an easy switcheroo. And it would be fun, I think, to pee poop and not worry about it.
I think,
you notice, like, that's how I do business.
I'm leaning that way just because it'd be easier to clean if it's up front, you know.
Well, it's a pretty good point too. That I guess would impact you the least. Like I could do that and like literally no one would know.
What I would love to do, I don't know if this is in the rules. I would love to switch my eyes from my pee hole and my butthole. You know, just have one.
I think that's
one eye is a butthole,
allowed, yeah.
One eye is a pee hole. That would be convenient if I got sick. And then I would be able to always see in front of me and behind me if someone was making fun of my eyes. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Aaron, what are you switching out?
I'm going pee hole butthole. I think it's just you can sit down to go to the bathroom, and then you're easier to clean up if it's up front. Where
going pee hole butthole is the missionary of this question.
Maybe it is.
It's not sexy,
but it's the most practical that I can think of.
Oh, we're all about practicality all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Where was that practicality when I asked you to name who's the good guy and who's the bad guy in the Middle East? Okay?
I mean, I gave you an impractical answer that I stand by. It would be hilarious to be at a restaurant and you'd be eating through your pee hole. and then when you need to, when you need to use the bathroom, or you're getting after it, you're getting a little randy with your partner, comes out of the mouth. It's.
I would like my penis to look like the bad guy in Alien. I would like that. But also, I think would your penis eat like an elephant? You know what I mean? Would it just be your penis eating peanuts all the time, just picking them up, drinking water, spraying it on people? I mean, the possibilities are endless, both comedic and philosophical. I just hope we society don't go too far and actually start doing this. Not until kids are 18 and they can make the decision, you know, to switch out.
Swapping your ears and your nose probably wouldn't have that big an effect.
Yeah, it would.
That's what I said.
You don't want to fuck with your face, guys, unless you're putting a peel in a butthole.
But
in your eyes,
you wouldn't really know just looking at the holes. Oh, those are his ears, versus those are his nose holes.
I don't know. If you look at my butthole,
you still have a nose.
If you really look at my butthole, you think maybe that's an eye, and that was email corner. Email's our thing. Diamonds.
And that was email corner. Diamonds around the world unite. Diamonds around the world unite.
And now it's time for
ad copy.
All right, so it's been a while since I've had to buy an engagement ring. Anthony's never done it. No. Step up to the plate, Anthony.
I've done it.
But I wish JamesAllen.com was around when I was doing it. It's the online destination for designing a custom engagement ring she'll love more easily than you ever thought possible, and saving up to 50% compared to traditional stores. Look, when your girlfriend's dropping hints that she wants a ring, you don't really know where to start. I hated the experience of like trying to figure out which place to go to, and like you want it to be nice, but you're worried you're going to get taken advantage of. At JamesAllen.com, you can do it all online, and you get to pick your diamond. You see it in a magnified 360-degree view, so you can see what it actually looks like in HD. You don't feel as pressured as if you're going into the jewelry store and everything. And you can look at these diamonds under a magnifying glass, and there's a million different kinds, hundreds of ring settings in platinum, white gold, rose gold, and yellow gold. JamesAllen.com also offers you can try it on, like an augmented reality try-on. So if you know what your girlfriend's finger, how big it is, you can try it on, Anthony. I could see you just playing around on JamesAllen.com for a while.
I know exactly how big her finger is, if you know what I'm saying.
You can also get real-time diamond consultations. So they're not commissioned. They're experts who can help you through the process, but they're not going to pressure you how to do it. They'll even help you how to, if you need help, asking how to pop the question, they can help you with that. It comes with a lifetime warranty, free resizing and engraving, hassle-free, 30-day warranties. It's the fastest growing online retailer of engagement rings, part of over 200,000 engagements. Get 25% off when you go to JamesAllen.com. Use the code JRVP. That's code JRVP at JamesAllen.com for 25% off. JamesAllen.com.
And if you have questions about your honeymoon, guess fucking what? James Allen.
I don't think they're helping with that, but I wish I had it. It was a stressful process.
Your honeymoon?
You didn't know who to trust. You know who I also trust? Babbel. Look, I want to be someone that can speak multiple languages. Someone who speaks 3 languages is called trilingual. Someone who speaks 2 languages is bilingual. Someone who speaks 1, Anthony?
Dumb.
American.
Whoa. Hey.
There's an easy laugh.
Hey, come on now. Watch it.
Only 22% of Americans know another language. Look, you could start now. You would learn a new language by Thanksgiving. Show up to Thanksgiving dinner, and you got it done. Because with Babbel, you can start speaking a language in just 3 weeks. Most people believe Spanish would be the most useful, so go for Spanish. But you can make a million different choices. Learning a new language also affects your brain, like in terms of processing. Like, get smarter. Don't just be settling with who you are as a person. Be like Anthony. Start adding things like Dodgers hats in your mid-40s.
That's the time. I would have killed to wear this in my 30s. I would have killed. And I'll tell you this. America is number 1.
Well, not in terms of learning languages. Babbel's designed for real people, for real conversations. It's really easy to use. I'm terrible with languages, and I found their website, the app, everything is approachable, accessible. It's rooted in real life situations. It's better than going to like your local college and trying to semester. They say Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. We have a special limited time deal for our listeners. You can get started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription only for our listeners at babbel.com/JRVP. That's 55% off babbel.com/JRVP. It's spelled BABBEL.com/JRVP. Rules and restrictions may apply. I like when the discount goes big, 55%. They're not messing around.
That's Babbel, baby. That's Babbel.
You know what our last sponsor is? It's Helix.
It's Helix.
I'm going to miss my Helix this week. I'm going to a nice-ass hotel.
Maybe a second before.
We got that in our contract. Nice hotels, nice flights. No, we actually don't, the hotel part. But I really do miss my Helix sleep. When I'm gone in Japan, like that's one of the negatives. We got Helix a few years ago now on this podcast. I ordered the kids' Helix too because they have different sizes. You can sleep if you sleep hot, if you sleep cool, you can get different Helix mattresses depending on that. You just fill out the Helix sleep quiz. You find the perfect mattress for you in under 2 minutes. Nobody wants to go to the store, Anthony. Nobody.
It's true. It's the first true thing you've said all fucking night, Greg.
Well, what is that even supposed to mean? They're American made, by the way. You said America #1.
That's right.
Where does Helix come from?
America.
America.
That's what I'm basing it on.
10 or 15-year warranty. It depends on the model. It's been awarded the #1 mattress by GQ and Wired magazine. They know what they're talking about. Even recommended by leading chiropractors. I bet Anthony's chiropractor is a big Helix fan. Doctors of Sleep Medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. You can get a 100-night free trial. And like I mentioned, the 10 to 15-year warranty. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/JRVP. Again, 20% off helixsleep.com/JRVP. This is their best offer yet. Helix, better sleep starts now.
And that was
ad copy.
Let's get to headlines.
Oh shit, where is that? There we go.
Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines.
All right, a South Korean skater has suffered what I'm calling the most painful loss in the history of sports last week at the Asian Games. Jung Chil-won was leading in the final lap of the men's speed skating 3,000-meter relay race when he started to celebrate too early, lifting his hands up, allowing the Taiwanese skater behind him to reach his toe out and win by 100th of a second. Now, that would be terrible, Anthony. That would be one of the most painful losses, but it wouldn't be the most painful loss. The kicker is that Chil-won needed to win the gold to avoid South Korea's mandatory military service for him and his teammates. It will cost him 18 months of his life.
Wait, all his teammates too?
Well, actually, one of them's so young. I guess one of them already did it. But yes, one of his teammates and him are stuck with it.
So if he had won the race, if he had gone a 10th of a second faster and won, then his other teammate wouldn't have had to go into military? They'd both be training for like the Olympics?
The way it works in South Korea, and I heard about this through a tennis player too, who lost in the quarterfinals there and was devastated, that if you can win a gold at the Asian Games, you can get out of your mandatory military service. It's 18 months long. Like BTS is taking a break, the band, for this service. If you can get a gold, you get to skip the whole thing. And so they would have gotten the gold. They were on the relay race, and he started celebrating too early. Both him and one of his partners, they're going to military.
What did he say after the race?
I mean, he just said, "I'm sorry." He said, "I let my guard down too early. We all worked very hard for this, and I feel terrible."
I mean, here's the thing about the South Korean military. It's kind of fun. It's kind of a breeze. Like, you've got North Korea, right above you, so you're always kind of looking at that. But that means that everything in South Korea is kind of chill and cool. You can kind of have a good time. If BTS can do it, why can't you? And you're going to be the fastest skater in the army. If there ever is a war and you guys have to strap on your skates, they're all going to fucking die at your hands and at the blades of your feet. So, in a way, he won. Do you think he was so embarrassed that afterwards he tried to just blend into the crowd at the Asian Games?
I don't think that would work. I don't think that would work.
I think you'd be surprised.
I mean, my heart kind of breaks for him. And you imagine the moment when he realized what had happened. I mean, it is sports at the highest stakes possible. I imagine if all sports were kind of like that, where like the winning team has to be conscripted for like 3 months, or even just has to go work at Subway or something. Yeah,
I mean, everyone would love it. I would be a fan of that. I'd like, what do they call it? Relegation? Like in soccer, when the worst team in the league. If baseball had that, everyone would love baseball so much more. The NFL? Are you fucking kidding? It would be amazing if teams got relegated. I think we'd all love that. But anytime someone celebrates, I don't think anyone really feels bad for them because it's such a fucking dumb thing to do. You know how fast the guy behind you is at skating. You know he can't be that far behind. That's what's all speed skating. You're just doing the same two things over and over again, and you want to celebrate early. No one ever thinks that's cool, by the way. No one's ever celebrated early and had it look cool. It just looks like dumb. Yeah. You're all a bunch of Leon Letts out there, running around in the snow on Thanksgiving.
And Don Beebe will get you.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I'm done. See, now you celebrate. Now that we killed that segment, now that we nailed it, now it's like, hey, the tape's around my chest, let's put my hands up. Before that, I'm pumping my arms until the ref blows the whistle and pulls me off the body, and they clean up the blood in the ring.
There is nothing more American. It's an American-themed episode here. We're solving problems. We know the best way to do things, and we know the best way to do weddings. Love big weddings. Love shooting children at weddings. 62-year-old officiant in Nebraska combined the two, weddings and shooting kids. Recently, when he accidentally shot a kid in the shoulder while trying to shoot a bullet in the air to get everyone's attention.
See, okay, this is even better because I assumed he's doing the wedding. He's like saying the vows or whatever, doing the vows with the couple, and the gun falls out of his frock and hits the ground and like fires off. No, he was like, he wanted to get everyone's attention to be like, hey, we're getting married over here, and went to fire in the air and just didn't get high enough? Was he laying on the ground?
I mean, he again, 62 years old. The child lived. Shot, I think it was a young boy in the shoulder.
How old?
So I think he was 12.
That's old enough to be cool. That's old enough to be cool. If he was 11, it's, oh no. 12, you can go into school and be like, look at this shit. Look what happened to me. Who wants to massage the wound? Is what you could say if you're 12. So no sympathy for the kid. He's got a cool battle scar. Cool story. The officiant should lose his gun wedding privileges. Like, he can have the gun normally. You need that. You can still do weddings, but you can't combine the two.
I just want to know, like, in what scenario was he trying to get everyone's attention? I guess maybe like everyone was just like talking before they started.
Listen,
like no one was paying attention. He was just like they kept mumbling, and he shot it into the air, and by mistake it kind of went out in the crowd.
So it went up and then down and hit the kid in the shoulder, or it like went out like right out, straight out of the gun?
He was taking it out, and it just fired and like fired out.
Listen, if you want to get someone's attention, shooting a 12-year-old in the shoulder is going to get their attention even more than shooting right up in the air. If I started my show, the reviews of my show have been great so far on tour, but if I started it by executing a 12-year-old right in front of you, people would listen the fuck up. I'll tell you what, I'd sell some more merch. I'd sell a lot more merch if I fired a bullet into the shoulder of a 12-year-old. And did they still do the wedding? Because I think you gotta get married. You gotta commemorate.
I would imagine that was not reported. I would imagine that stopped. He was arrested on suspicion of felony child abuse. Like that, this is illegal to just shoot random kids.
Yeah, it should be illegal. It should be illegal. It's a privilege, not a right. I just think that I would think about getting married if all weddings had this. If all weddings had a shot child, and then it's like, out with the old, in with the new kind of thing, I would be way more into it. I want to see the photo album. Let me see the wedding album. Let me see it. Show me all the pictures. I'm excited. I'm into it. Good. Best of luck.
Hey, little Ricky, it's not so bad. Come take a picture with us. Come take a picture, Ricky.
Best of luck to the happy couple. And this is why there should be more kids at weddings. Don't tell me your wedding is child-free, because then you know what that means? 0% chance I'm going to get what I want at this wedding. I don't care what your gift to the guests is. Greg had a burned CD of the wedding playlist. Everyone was happy. Would we have been happier if the officiant had shot a kid at the beginning of the wedding? 100%. So, Team Bullet. If he'd shot a missile at the kid, no bueno.
No.
Thanks, Babel.
All right, the first rule of the Oklahoma City trailer park, where a 13-foot cat-eating python lives, is that you do not talk about the 13-foot cat-eating python. I repeat, do not say a fucking word about that 13-foot cat-eating python. It's like the problem doesn't exist, Anthony.
Why do you call it a cat-eating python? All pythons eat cats. I've checked. They love them. It's their favorite. Can't get enough. I would think if you live in a trailer park, you got a lot of cats around. I bet you don't know all their names. I bet it's those kind of cats. It's the group cat mentality. It's woke. 13-foot python lives in the trailer park? Is it someone's pet?
Yeah.
Break it down for me.
Well, that part's a little unclear. I don't know if it's someone's pet, but several residents say management knew about the snake and they never wanted to fix the problem. At one point, they closed the pool. They never told anyone about it. I think they were embarrassed about it, or maybe it was someone's they didn't want to get rid of. But then they started warning people, and this is where this story came from, that if they better not speak to the media about the python, and that if they find out that anyone's talking to the media about the python, then they're going to get evicted.
Let me tell you exactly what this is. They're scared of the python. Their job is to get rid of the cat-eating python that comes in the trailer park, and they don't want to do that. And they've been putting it off. And so they're asking you not to talk about it because they're scared. And if you talk about it, they feel like they got to do something, and they don't want to do that. I don't blame anyone. I don't even blame the python. It's eating cats. Aaron, have you ever tasted cat?
No.
It's good. Oh. It's better than you would think. People don't eat cat. You know why, Aaron?
Because they're pets.
It's the allergies.
Oh, yeah.
But they're good. If you could eat a cat every day, you would. And you would grow up to be big and strong. This is
the segment that my mom's going to be upset with.
Let me tell you something, too. If you live in a trailer park, okay? Let me put it like this. Greg, you live in a house. You buy a cat. You bring the cat home. You put it in your house. You get a litter box. You get cat food. How many cats do you have? One cat. That's right. Okay. Let's say you get 5 cats and you take them into your trailer park and you set them loose. How many cats do you have?
17.
You got 0 cats. You don't own a cat if you live in a trailer park. The cats own you. I'll say it right now. Write letters if you're mad at me for this. This python is the reincarnation of Jesus Christ trying to deliver the Oklahoma City trailer park people from their suffering, which is in cat form. Aaron, back me up.
Absolutely.
Yes. Greg.
I mean, people at the park felt differently. They got Morris, suddenly is missing, and they go by the old python and the huge bulge in the stomach. They closed the pool, and they wouldn't say why. It's just because they're afraid of the cat. Afraid of the python.
Yeah, it's like you see a bug in the bathroom, you just close the door and like no one go in there until we forget about it and we feel okay again. I don't blame anyone. Nuke it from space. Everyone get all your canned goods and get the fuck out of there and drop the big one on it. Pull an oppie on them and drop a bomb on that shit because it's got to go. 13-foot cat-eating python. What are you going to get, a shovel and kill it? No.
They gone.
You're doing an oppie. It's an oppie situation. Would you, Greg, if you had to kill a snake, how would you do it?
I don't know, with a knife? With a big knife?
Aaron, how would you
try to
13-foot python, how do you kill it?
Machete.
Machete? That's good, not bad. Oh my God. All right, I got a good one for you here. But I would poison all the cats.
Good call. I like it.
That's smart snake killing. That's smart snake killing right there. Here's a crazy one for you, okay? I remember after college, right when I was graduating college, I was thinking about different options for myself. And one of them was the Peace Corps. I thought, what if I joined the Peace Corps, get to see the world, go do something for a couple years? I looked into it. And then I came across this piece of trivia. When you get in the Peace Corps and you go to these different continents, these different locales, they give you a guidebook or like a book of like, how to handle different things, If you go to like fucking Alaska or something in like the like a frozen tundra, it's like how to survive in that condition. There was one for South America. And there was a page that was what you do if you come across a anaconda snake, the giant ass snake, And it says, if you see an anaconda snake in the jungle, do not run, it will catch you. Do not run, it's faster than you. It says, what you do is you lie down and you make your body like a pencil. You just like your arms against your sides, your feet together, and you lay on your back. And the snake is going to come up to you and it's going to roll around on top of you to make sure you're dead. And if you move, it's going to realize you're alive and constrict you and kill you. So just lay completely still. Then when the snake is sure you're dead, it's going to go down to your feet and unhinge its jaw and start to devour you from your feet up. It says, let this happen. And then when the snake gets up to your knees, you take your machete that's at your side, you sit up, you put the machete in between your legs, and you pull up. So you split the snake's head in half from inside its mouth. And the last two steps are make sure you have your knife and make sure your knife is sharp. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to forget this. I'm not joining the Peace Corps, and I will never go to South America. Yeah. I don't care what people in Brazil look like. I'm not going there. Nice try, Brazil. No thanks. Snakes, 0. Missiles, 0. United States of America, 1 million. Final score.
Last headline.
Finally in the news, a man suspected of stealing a car in Connecticut with a 17-month-old child in the back seat and then robbing a bank died after the vehicle struck a tree, police said last week. Love it.
This guy had a bad day. All right. If he dies and he's up at the gates of heaven, they're just going to look at him and be like, fucking, this guy, come on in. Come on in. Everybody wants to talk to you about how bad you fucked up. I got to think, so he stole a car with a toddler in the back seat, took the stolen car to rob a bank, and then on his way out of the bank trying to get away, hit a tree.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to believe that he was just trying to get from point A to point B. And was like, fuck it, I got to steal a car. I'm in a hurry. Then saw the toddler in the back seat and thought, how am I going to pay for this? And then went to rob the bank. And then was like, I don't want kids. And killed himself. Am I right?
I think you're right. Like diapers, so expensive.
The most expensive things. What are they made of? Gold? Aaron, how old's your daughter?
She is almost 3.
And is she still in diapers?
Yep.
Got to nip that in the bud, buddy.
Tell me about it.
You say, hey, All that shit goes in the toilet from now on.
Yeah, the toddler.
No exceptions.
The toddler,
Time to have
according
the
to
talk.
police.
You better be happy your orifices are where they are. Use them. All right. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't think we can top that.
And now it's time for
Choo-choo!
Recommendation Station. Greg.
I'm going to do a double recommendation today just because I always recommend the new Mitski album, except I didn't with the last album. But this one, Return to Form. Love it. New Mitski. Check it out. Feels like her best albums are her early albums, and they're weird, and this one is like that. She sounds like she's having fun again. If you're a Mitski fan, you like it.
Mitski was Be the Cowboy?
She did do Be the Cowboy, yeah.
I love that album. I have not heard the others, but I love that one, so I will check it out. And do you have another one? You said double recommendation.
I am, because I finished a book that you had recommended a long time ago. A lot of people have read this book. It's called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, about a pair of friends who grow up and start this video game company. And it's a crowd pleaser. Like, I liked it. As I'm going, I'm just like, oh, I see why everyone likes this. And then I really love the ending. It lands the ending well. There's a lot going on in this book, but it's essentially about a friendship between a man and a woman and everything that goes on in their life. It's good to have a little friendship book.
Yeah.
Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin.
If you're one of those people who likes the podcast because it's an exploration of male friendship, you will love this book, even though it's a friendship between a man and a woman. But I love books like this, where it's like a lifetime friendship and you get to see their lives change and success and what comes with it. Great book. My book recommended this week, I was telling Greg off the air, I just finished it this morning. I started reading this book a week or so ago on the road. It's a long one, but it's incredible, where I wanted to recommend it today and woke up at like 6 a.m. this morning to finish it, before I had to run off to the chiropractor, and loved it. I mean, loved every second of it. It's a long book, but it's incredible. Going to be a lot of awards this year. It's called The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. And we call it Recommendation Station. It could be called What Are the Guys Reading? Because it's just like, oh, here's what I read this week. Here's the latest book I've read. Occasionally, it's like, this is amazing. This is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. I would say that this year about Chain Gang All Stars, and I will say it about The Bee Sting by Paul Murray. Anyone who reads it will absolutely love it. It is incredible. I'm going to tell you what it's about. It's about a family and their history and their future in Ireland, and it's just incredible. Modern day, love it. Aaron, you got anything for us?
Sure, I'm going to recommend a band.
Sure.
A band that's no longer together, but they were great, and they never got signed. But I have a bunch of their albums. They're called Jared and the Mill. And they're out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Jared and the Mill.
Yeah, great kind of folk, rock, not really country, mostly like kind of folky and rock.
How would people find them?
They're all over all the streaming platforms and available for purchase.
Say the name of the band again.
Jared and the Mill.
Jared and the Mill.
Yeah.
If I see you wearing Jared and the Mill merch, I'll cut your throat.
Okay.
And that was
Choo-choo.
Recommendation Station. Debbie, I love you. I think about you all the time. Get us out of here.
Whoa, Nelly Furtado. That's a spicy meatball. Is that okay, Greggy?